Thank you. Now, I would like to introduce my beautiful sister, my beautiful guest, who inspired me to push to do this live. And when I say that, let me just give you a little backstory of how this live happened. She was doing a live and she was speaking about purpose. And I had a drive to speak on purpose, but I just wasn't making the time to do it. I'm like, oh, maybe later on I'll get it done. And as she spoke to it, it spoke to my spirit. And I was like, let's do a collaboration. We need to expand this. Like so many people are walking around not knowing who they are or what their purpose is or why they're here. And she was like, yes, let's do it. And that's why we're doing this now. It took some back and forth, but here we are
Here we are.
presenting our purpose to you. Not our purpose, but how to find your purpose. Why are you on this planet? So, without further ado, let me introduce Geeky Girls, who has her own YouTube channel. She also has her amazing store that encourages young girls, young women to be more confident and finessing who they are. But I can't say it as good as she can say it, so I'll let her tell you a little bit about her channel, who she is, and what she does, and then we'll get into the topic. So take it away, Geeky Girls. I mean,
Okay.
Andrea, I call you Geeky Girls, but
That's okay. You
you
can
tell them
call me,
everything.
yeah, you can call me Geeky Girls. That's fine. Can you hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Charlene? Okay, I guess everybody can hear me okay. So first, I'd like to say thank you for having me here today. I'm really overjoyed to
Yes,
be
my
here.
love. I can hear you when I listen from my cell phone, but I'm not hearing through the broadcast. But you're good to go.
Okay. Okay. So I just want to say thank you for having me first, Charlene. I am glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to take part in this discussion because, let me answer the question first that was presented by Charlene. And that is who I am and how I got started. So my name is Andrea. And so if you just think under, it's spelled like the typical name Andrea, but my mom's different and she wanted me to be different and special. So that's what we're going with. So I'm Andrea. And I started Geeky Girls Journal. It actually was not a plan that I was like, oh, I just want to start a business. It came about, you know how sometimes you have these life experiences and they lead you into something, and we're talking about purpose today, so this is special, and they lead you into something and, you know, often you don't know where it's going to go. So that's what happened with me. I have 5 daughters, and my daughters have always been the minority at their school. And in this particular situation, one of my daughters, you know, very smart, very gifted, quiet child, mostly around other people like that she's unfamiliar with. And if you can just imagine, if you've ever been in a situation where you felt like you were the outcast, or you felt like, you know, you've been isolated, or, you know, some of us, if we think about it hard enough, you can probably even think about some incidents where you were bullied in school. And we're not talking about where somebody, you know, punched you or knocked you down. That's not always just bullying. We're talking about different people treating you a certain way just because of the way that you look, the way that you act, or whatever it may be. So that's how I started Geeky Girls Journal. My daughter was left out of the crowd because she looked different externally. And, you know, her hair wasn't the same as everybody else's. You know, she just looked different. And she has always been, my children, all of them have always been one of the only person of color in their class, or just one out of maybe 2, if they're lucky, or 3 people of color. So in their instance, you know, people were just not wanting to be their friends. And I'm just going to speak to the issue, the reason that I started Geeky Girls Journal, and the reason why I'm starting my journey here on YouTube, and why I decided to make it a channel. It's because my daughter was targeted in a sense where girls, other children in her class would not speak to her, wouldn't play with her, wouldn't do anything. I mean, it was to the point where she would sit in the cafeteria table by herself, you know, in elementary school where everybody's supposed to be really warm and fuzzy and, hey, you're my friend. But we all know in the world outside of elementary school. Unfortunately, not everybody's going to be your friend. And we learn that as we get older. And my daughters have learned that throughout schooling. They had a different experience than I had. I grew up with in a different environment. So we're speaking to Geeky Girls Journal and why it was started. So my daughters were in positions where they were always by themselves. And so we found out that probably in the middle or towards the end of one of my daughter's school years, that I'm sorry, I had to check again to make sure everybody can hear me. Trying not someone else close. Okay, so she had been experiencing this group of girls that just didn't like her, just not for no apparent reason. Like, she was always reading a book. If you know my daughter, she loves to read. So wherever she was reading a book. She was reading a book in the cafeteria, reading a book on the playground where you're supposed to be making friends and having fun. So she decided, I'll just read my book. I don't really have to be around. And you know what? I'm going to stop myself, because when I think about this, I think about, people who say somebody was being bullied or somebody was being, somebody was the outcast. And a lot of times you think about that person that's kind of sitting in the corner and, they're going through different emotions. Well, my daughter, I had to think about it because I felt the same way. At first I was like, oh, Mama Bear kind of came out. I was like, oh, I got to protect her. I got to do this. And I'm going to tell you more about this story in a minute. But when I think about the strength that she had in first trying to handle the situation herself, I'm going to take you on a journey. So she, throughout the year, things were happening. Like I said, nobody wanted to play with her. Nobody wanted to do anything. So she ended up writing this note to her teacher and to her administrators and explaining to them what was happening throughout the year. And she wrote this letter, and it was very detailed. And she had, drew illustrations with it as well that showed the students that were involved. And she showed this picture, like all the students in this group, and she showed a picture of herself outside. Now she's in around second or third grade at this time. And, I found out a little bit later, because I'm one of those parents that I like to ask questions. I like to, every day my kids come home after school. How was your day? What happened today? What did you go through? Did you make any new friends? What did you learn? I asked a billion questions to the point where they're like, oh, Mom, you always asking a lot of questions. Well, I have to know what's happening so that I can know how to deal with the next steps. So that's what happened. I was asking her questions, and she would just be like, oh, I'm okay, and your child, and when something's wrong. So we just continued to dig and dig and dig. And what we found out was eventually she just told us, it's, nobody wants to play with me, when nobody wants to sit with me, nobody wants to do anything. So as a mom, that of course, I was concerned and I wanted to find more about it. So I contacted the teachers, I contacted the administrators, I contacted everybody and anybody who was attached to their school district that would listen to me. And I told them, hey, this is the situation. We need to have a meeting, and we need to have a meeting right now. Now, I'm one of those type of parents that believes in, advocacy and a parent being the strongest advocate for your child. If you believe in that, put it in the comment section as well, because we're going to go on a journey today and talk about this. So I know that I'm an advocate for my kids. So I said, you know what? I'm the strongest advocate. I'm the person who always has your back. And that's what I did. So I told my husband, we need to have a meeting. And we did just that. We talked to the teacher first. So we went, use a chain of commands. We talked to the teacher, we talked to the administrators, and, they have protections where you can't be parts of different conversations thank you, Dave's Adventures. I'm sorry. When you can't be privy to certain information. So because they were minors, they couldn't tell us what the conversations were that they had with the parents. They just said, we have everything taken care of. Now, if you're a parent, sometimes, we have everything taken care of is you're not doing enough. You're not taking care of enough. And we never felt like enough was done, So the next step as a parent is, okay, what are we going to do next? So my husband said, hey, let's write a book. She loves to read. She enjoys books. And you all have to understand, my daughters like to read so much that if I wanted to put them on punishment, I would literally say, we're not going to go to the library. I'm not ordering any more books. I'm not buying any more books. And that's a form of punishment in my household. So I just told you that because that tells you what type of child she is and what type of relationship she has with books and what love she had for books. So that was the perfect idea. Let's create these books. And then in these books, we put ways to deal with different situations, those conversations that are difficult sometimes for parents to have for children. It's in there, but it's camouflaged. So what happened was my daughter was reading, and she read the books, and she's like, finally start opening up and saying, I can understand what she went through because I have a friend that went through that, or I went through the same thing. Oh, and so that brought up a lot of the conversations, and opened up the door for conversations for us to have with her. So um, I need to backtrack for a second. So in those conversations, we found that she opened up, and we were able to have these conversations with her and say, hey, you don't have to take care of everything yourself. You're younger. There are certain things that parents have to do that you can't handle. There are certain things that we have to advocate for you. There are certain things discussions that we have to have. And you can't do it alone. You can't do it by yourself. And what I found is my daughter wasn't the only child like that. There are many children that feel alone in situations like that. They feel like, oh, I have to handle it, or maybe it's just me that people are isolating, that people don't want to talk to. So with that, I learned, what? We have to do more. Have you ever had that feeling where you're like, okay, we wrote these books, and the books worked, you guys. I got to tell you, both my daughters, when they were in elementary school, between roughly first, second, third grade, they read the books back to back. And the reason we know that they used to work is because they would read the books, and I have them. I'll show you all soon. They would read these books, these two right here. They would read these books, and then they would be in the corners laughing and having conversations and talking about the events that were happening in the book. And we were like, hey, what are they talking about? And they'd just be whispering and laughing, just opened up. I'm telling you, so many doors. You need me to stop. And it opened up doors, and they would be having these conversations. So we would just kind of jump in and, ask them what was happening. So in the meantime, in the book, we put tons of vocabulary in it because we believe in fluency and vocabulary words and, comprehension. So the book is packed with that, but it also teaches lessons. It's written in diary form. So we made it relatable for my girls. And eventually so it's written in diary form. It has doodles. So it was really relatable, easy enough to read. And for those who, don't have a strong vocabulary, the words are right there with the definition to the word is in a book. So you don't have to wonder, what does, peculiar mean? Look it up. It's right in the book. So anyway, we found that those worked. And that is the reason. That's what led me to Geeky Girls Journal. I said, hey, if that's working, we need to put those books out, because we never had the intention of publishing. We just wanted to write the books for my daughters. And then eventually, once we got, reviews from friends and family members and my daughters, we decided to put them out, because you never know who else you can help out. Now, let me just explain something. The books are not like self-help books. They don't have, this is what you do, step 1, 2, 3, or this is how you build more confidence. The book is more camouflage. It's more like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid, if you've ever read that. So it's humorous. The girl is really smart and sassy in the book. So it's written in a diary form. It has doodles. It's relatable. She's like the girl next door. So those really help to open up the hard conversations. And that's what brought me to YouTube. So because I decided that I needed to do more, I needed to be the mom and to show up for my daughters and for my kids, as I've always done, but to show up in a different way, a way that they could grasp a hold and to relate to. So I decided, hey, we need to do something else. And I had another conversation with my husband. I was like, let's start a business. Let's start a business so that we can reach more parents and more girls, sons too, because sons have the same issues, that may be in the same position. And, let's try to do more. So that's what ultimately brought me to YouTube, wanting to help out others, helping other moms, parents that are in the same situation. And so that is, I don't want to keep talking and taking up much of the time, because I know Charlene wants to get to purpose. So that was just a background story to who I am and what I do. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me any. Thank you, Charlene. Did I lose her? Okay, well, do you want me to keep going? Love this, Odessa. Are there any questions while we're waiting for the host with the most? Oh, I tried to make it short, because I know I'll go on and on and on. But I hope everybody got the idea, and you can ask any questions on my channel anywhere.
Same situation. That is, I don't want to keep talking. That is powerful. Thank you for sharing your story. You make me feel like I wasn't aware that that starts at such a young age. It's very disturbing. I think I'm going to bring you back if, we find a time to align, just to talk about that situation and that book that you're doing, because I think it's mighty special and I would love to help you bring more awareness to it. So we'll talk about that another time. But thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. I am really moved by it.
Thank you.
I
I
got to
know.
breathe through that one.
You
Starts
know,
really young, man.
if I can just
So,
say, add one more thing, Charlene. And I know we're talking about purpose. This I just bring it up because it leads to things. Not just my only daughter. I have 5 daughters, you all, and 4 are now school age, and she's not the only one that's experienced that type of thing. I've had people tell my daughters, you only have good grades and only score high on the SAT and things of that nature because of affirmative action. And one of my daughters, when she was in first grade, was told to get to the back of the bus because that's what where your people are supposed to be. So that is what motivates me to continue to do things like this every day and to try to make connections with others, just to try to have my little imprint on the world, just to try to make a difference. So with that, I'm going to leave it, Charlene, and we can pick it up another time. I'll be more than happy to come back and share.
any good mama will be motivated to do that. Like, I just cannot imagine. We need to have a separate show on that because I'm so moved by it. And what I like about what I do here on this channel, there's a free flow. So you see how you're opening up to share that? It's just so beautiful because a lot of people might be going through that. And through this broadcast and what you're doing on your channel, you may be able to reach people. Like, I can't really speak to that, thank goodness, but I feel it because I feel for others. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And
So
that's where it starts.
let's get into the topic at hand. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. The topic today that we're focused on is how to find your purpose. What is my purpose? So before we share our take, we want to hear what you have to say. What do
That's
you think your purpose is? In fact, do you feel like you have a purpose? Do you know your purpose? How do you find your purpose? What do you think? Let's hear some of your thoughts and your ideas as we get Geeky Girl. I'm so sorry. I just keep saying Geeky Girl, but you know what? That's gonna bring the brand name out
that's right. That's call
even
me
more.
Geeky
Geeky
Girl.
Girls Journal.
That's right. Let's
Let's get her to say what she believes purpose is and her definition because on her original video, which I'm going to put in the description section, you're going to see her definition of purpose, dictionary version plus her version, and just take what you need to take from it. Not everything is for us, but there's something there that might be for you. So Andrea, take it away. Let's share what is purpose.
Sure. It's so funny. I had gotten so caught up in you speaking. I'm just like, yeah, get ready to share. Oh, yeah, me? Okay. So, you guys, I need to speak to purpose because this particular video that Charlene is speaking of, I did it. I was in the parking lot of my daughter's schoolyard waiting. You all, the parents that are here, you know what I'm talking about. Those long lines you have to wait in just to pick your child up after school. I was sitting in a parking lot and it hit me. Okay, let me give you a background story. I am one of those people that I'm originally a planner. However, I've learned to be very flexible over the years and just to kind of go with the flow of things. And a question that I've asked myself almost every life of my year for every year of my life for as long as I can remember is, what is my purpose? I've always asked that question. And when I say I've asked that question, I'm saying I'm talking to God. And I ask myself this question often. I'm like, what is my purpose? And I have these conversations with my sister and we're talking and things come out in the conversation. And do you all understand how sometimes when you're having a conversation with somebody else and they point something out, they're like, I know what your purpose is. You're good at da 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 da. You're really well at speaking. You're really good at connecting with others. You're really good at tech. You're really good at whatever it is that you're good at. You're really good at making people feel inspired or motivated. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about you all out there in the chat. I'm talking about everybody. So if you've ever had those conversations with yourself internally and with God, if you believe in God, have you ever wondered, what your purpose was? So this particular day, I was sitting in the parking lot and it hit me. And it's almost as if all these years of me trying to figure it out just kind of came rushing at one time. And I was just trying to process it. And I said, you know what, while I'm processing it and working my way through it, I want to do a live and I want to share it because somebody else may be going through the same thing and can see me. You can actually see my wheels spinning on a live. I looked at it briefly before I sent the link to Charlene. And I was just like, I looked like I was really thinking about, what my definition of purpose was. And I still, you guys, I don't feel like I truly have a grasp, but I can tell you this. I can tell you that I'm finding out that my purpose just seems to unravel a little bit more each time as I'm doing things, it unravels. And I think in the live that Charlene is specifically talking about, I addressed the issue where, I was figuring out purpose for me. I always thought was just one thing. And now it can be one thing for somebody else. I'm talking about me specifically since I'm blessed to be on this panel. And if you can relate, let me know in the comment section. But I always thought purpose was just that one thing that you can do. And it still may be because I'm not fully there yet. I'm still figuring things out. But this specific day, it hit me that my purpose was a couple different things. So do you all think it's one thing? I'm asking in the chat this question. Do you think it's one thing? Or do you think your purpose can be many different things? So for me that day, as I'm sitting there, it hit me, Andrea, your purpose is to be a mom. Okay, you guys, when I was growing up, I never, how girls have this dream like, oh, I want to get married. I want to have a mom. They have it all planned out. I had it all planned out, everything planned out. Only my plan was completely different than what my life turned out. My plan was I'm going to get married in my late 20s, which I did. I did do that. I'm going to move to New York. I'm going to have a loft. I'm going to have a maid and a butler, and I'm going to have one daughter. Well, what happened was, I ended up being blessed with 5 daughters. 5. And I thought I specifically had a conversation with the good Lord Jesus and said, I thought we talked about one. Well, what? My plan was different from his plan for my life. And I'm saying all these things because this continued and continues to lead me to my purpose and to unravel my purpose. So you guys, my purpose is obviously to be a mom of 5 girls. That's what I am. My purpose is to be a wife. That is what I am. My purpose is to be a business owner. That fell in my lap. Because again, I told you initially that was not what my intentions were. It just kind of blossomed into that. And then now we're here at Geeky Girls Journal. My purpose was to be a sister, is to be a daughter, a friend to some. My purpose is to be here now on YouTube speaking to you all about purpose. So what I found out was that my purpose in that moment in time is what I was doing. My purpose was, and I had the standard definition for purpose. I feel like I should look it up so that I can read it to you all. Charlene, can I do that? But if I read the definition of purpose, that's what happened. I was reading the definition and I said, oh, wow, I missed this the whole time. What I've been doing, I think Charlene's trying to say something. I'm going to pause, Charlene, so that I don't want to overtalk you just in case you're trying to.
Yeah, go ahead and read it, baby girl.
Okay, thank you. So I have it up, you guys. Purpose, the definition of purpose is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. Okay, so the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. So I read that definition and then it smacked me right in the face. Have you all ever had a bright light moment? That's what happened to me. I had a bright light moment. I was just like, oh my goodness. So I can figure this out. This is what purpose is. My reason for which something is done, for which something is created, or for which something exists. And in my mind, when I read that definition, I said, okay, I was created to be those things that I just discussed. A mom, businesswoman, wife, sister, all those things. So that is my purpose. My purpose, you guys, my purpose is ultimately also to praise God, the Most High, whatever. If somebody calls him differently in the chat, I say God. I even sometimes say Daddy. So that is my purpose. And I'm finding every day that I don't have to have it all figured out right now at this moment. In fact, it's best for me that I'm not following my own plan, but just allowing it to unravel because, sometimes our thoughts are not the thoughts of our fathers, or our thoughts are, can be kind of cloudy sometimes. Maybe I think that this is what my purpose is, but then that purpose that I think it is, it may be leading me or shifting me into another direction to actually find out what my purpose is, or to get further into my purpose, or to refine it, to refine that area that I'm supposed to do, or to gift, or to, be able to share with the world. So that's kind of what happened for me. I just had, one of those moments, and I just decided to share it. And Sister Charlene, was gracious enough to send me a lovely message. And she was chatting at the time. And then I was like, oh, great. So I'm not alone in this. So that's where I am with purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was divine connection, and I also felt like it was a message from the universe to me to go ahead on what I felt a call to do, but wasn't making the time to do it. And just seeing you up there speaking about it, I'm like, this is such a necessary thing, because a lot of time you're so confused, you don't know who you are. And I find that when you're not sure who you are, you're like a ship without a compass that has a set direction. You'll just go wherever the wind takes you if you don't have a purpose. So let's talk about, why is it important to have a purpose? I'll give why I believe it's important first. And by the way, I totally endorse what you said about the dictionary's definition of why was I created. It's so powerful. I felt that. Why was I created? Or why do I exist?
Yes.
And for those of us that haven't fully discovered our purpose yet, we'll discuss, after we get from this segment, we'll discuss, okay, ways that we can find our purpose or discover our purpose. And just getting back to what I was saying, excuse me, give me 1 second.
Oh, that's okay. I'll talk while you're drinking your tea. Sometimes, you're doing what your purpose to do and you just don't even know it, because it comes so naturally that you just think it's something that, oh, I just do that easily. I mean, I just do that all the time. You bake cakes. I don't bake in my house. My daughters do that, and I thank God that they do. That is not, so I'm not purposed to be somebody who does that. And I know that, but, I'll let you go. But I just wanted to point that out, that, it's something that you can do effortlessly, that you probably do without thinking. So I challenge you all too, before Charlene speaks, those things that you do, and you can just do it without hesitation, and you can just do it without thinking about it. You do it without, any challenge. That's something that can lead you to your purpose. Think about those small things that you do every day that you don't even, you just do it. I'm sorry, Charlene.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I apologize that I'm not fully interacting with you.
That's okay.
Because for some reason, I'm only able to hear when I turn my phone up. And then I don't want the echo to happen, so I would have to mute. So, okay.
I'm fine with it. I'm here.
Okay. So, I was saying, and your chime in was really good because I had to take a sip of water. So we're working with synergy here, and I love it. Oh, before I state my point, I just want to welcome in some people that I'm seeing in the chat. Thank you for being here. Oh, thank you for the compliment, Johnny.
Yes, she does.
Everybody say hello to Johnny Small Pepper.
Hello, Johnny.
And who else just came in? Is that Odessa?
Odessa, Mel.
Thank you for being here, everyone, varieties. Melda, I don't think I welcomed you in. Welcome in, sis. Welcome in. I appreciate every beautiful being that's here. I have some people in the background just hanging there. They're at work and, they're listening in. So I appreciate you. People in the bushes, people in the background, wherever you are. Just make sure you don't get no bug bites in them bushes.
Yes, that's right. Be safe.
Thank you for being here. All the people that's going to catch this after, listen, welcome in, beautiful soul. Share this out if you believe it can help someone. Yes. The purpose of this channel these channels is not just to bring awareness, but it's to bring positivity. It's to create change, the change that our planet needs.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah, if you want a better world, you can't just sit there and say, oh, it's going to happen. You got to forge it. You got to create it. Make it happen. Start with your thoughts. Imagine a wonderful world for you and your children and the children after your children. You're thinking long term, generations to come. So, anyway, I like to always get a little something like that. And let me get back
Yeah.
to why purpose is important.
Yes.
Purpose is important because, like I mentioned before, if you're a ship without a navigation system or a destination, you're just going to go where the sail takes you, where the wind takes you. You have, you get lost like that. Or you might wind up and land in some great adventures. Great, have a good time. You might wind up in some disasters. God help you out of there. But what I'm saying, when you have a purpose and you understand what that purpose is, you know where you're going. Everything that you do has purpose and meaning behind it. You don't just have empty feelings. You don't just have empty things that you do like, oh, I'm going to plant a fruit tree today. There's a purpose behind that fruit tree.
Mm-hmm.
If I plant a fruit tree, you better believe I'm thinking, oh, my great grands and all those to come after, even people that are not related by blood to me, they can eat from that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that resonates with anyone, but I'm just trying to get you to understand that your purpose is important. And if you find that you don't know what your purpose is and you need some guidance, I'm actually setting up some things right now in my coaching program to help people to find their purpose. And I'm going to be doing it in a way that speaks to my soul. So we might be doing some breathing, we might be doing some movement, we might be doing some talking, some listening. We got to go back to the childhood. We got to go back to who we were as a child, because who you were as a child, it really helps you to understand who you are. That's why I always tell people, observe your children. They might be gravitating towards a certain type of toy or type of show or book or whatever it is. It speaks to who they will become or who they're here to be. And a lot of times, and this is going into another topic, but I gotta say it, a lot of times we shut our children down. We shut down their throat chakra and their heart chakras and all these things, and we do it unconsciously. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't seen my chakra videos on how to unblock those chakras, go ahead and check it out. I'm going to do a special one for the throat chakras with children, because I believe that a lot of us get shut up as children, especially if we grow up in a certain type of environment, like, for instance, the Caribbean. You're told that children should be seen and not heard. And you, in your little self, you're just trying to speak your truth and be who you are, and you get shut down from that. So that in a way takes you away from what your purpose is. Then you start just going with other people's program. You forget who you are. Mm-hmm. So your purpose is important because it helps you to figure out where you're going. And in the next segment, after Geeky Girl gives her reason why she believes purpose is important, we're going to talk about ways and how you can find your purpose. So, Andrea, the floor is all yours, my beautiful sister.
Okay. Look, where do I go from there? You said it all. I agree with you, especially the part about watching your children. Now, I have 5, and I've been watching, like, my daughter, my eldest, she loves science and math, and her passion, when I thought about it, it's always been like dinosaurs. When she was like 4, 5, 6, she loved dinosaurs and science related things. And go figure, now she's going into science, and she'll be going to an Ivy League next year. And I only say that because watching her and her progression, I can see that that's where her path was going. My second, she's a writer, very strong writer. She used to write over everything. And I mean everything in the house. She found a path. She's writing on everything. Right. Now she writes beautifully. Her vocabulary is extensive. And I'm just like, I'm trying to get her to write the next Geeky Girls Journal book, actually. So, keep looking out for that. And I think she would be, just that she would be the person to deliver that next book, because of the way that she, can word things, and she makes her vocabulary, it just dances together, and she can relate. Okay, we have about 20 minutes or so to go. But I was thinking about something that Sister Charlene said, and it was, if you watch a child when they're younger, when I was younger, I talked, just talk all the time. I could talk to anybody, anywhere about anything. I'm still the same person. And my mom, even to the point where I would be in school and I would talk to the teachers all the time. And when my mom would come in, I would get good grades, A's, some B's, but the teachers, all of my teachers throughout all of my schooling would say, she talks all the time. She talks so much. And I would tell my teachers, give me some work to do. Maybe I'm bored. I mean, I need something to do. If you don't want me to talk, then give me some more work. And my mom would come in. She was one of those hands-on parents as well. And she would come in and tell the teacher, what do you want me to do? I'm not here. Sit her desk next to yours. And some of my teachers tried that. And they did put my desk right next to theirs. I remember sitting face to face with one of my teachers, Miss Chambers. And she would say, suffer in silence to me all the time. Suffer in silence, because I would sit there and have a conversation with her. I would talk to her throughout class. I'd finish my work and then I would talk to her. And then I try to talk to other students, but they still be doing their work. So I go right back to the teacher and talk to her. And she'd be like, oh my gosh. And I'd be like, I can't help it. What do you want me to do? So if I think about it, my path, has led me to where I am, talking and, motivating others and wanting to solve problems and issues for moms, and just want to be there, for other women to help them out. So I agree. Purpose, if you know who you are, it makes it easier to it makes it easier to perform the next step. It makes it easier for you to continue on and just to get better and to refine and, narrow in on those skills so that you're able to help others. And just also, just so you have that ultimate in life is purpose. Everybody wants to know what their purpose is. I know I'm not the only one that's asked that question a million times. So that's my take on it, Charlene. Hopefully I answered the question, because I'm not sure if I did. Am I experiencing feedback?
Girl, not only did you answer the question, you give a little extra.
Okay. I told you, talking, that was my thing.
You're like one of those teachers that helps you to understand, because you bring in real world experience and examples. So when you do that, it makes the picture clearer. So I appreciate that. Thank you, my lady.
Thank you, ma'am.
So now, the next phase we're going to go into, and you know what? I just feel called to have a little heart to heart before we go into that last phase of how to find your purpose. How did you discover, like, what was your journey of your purpose, like finding it? If you want, I could share mine first, or you could share yours, however you want to do it.
Yeah,
but I just feel like sharing that. And for all my family in the chat, if you would like to share your journey and you would like to come up on the panel or just share it in the chat, just let me know.
Yeah, sharing is caring, everybody. And I'm going to let you go first, because I feel like I don't know what I might say next. It's just kind of coming out of me. I'm so welcome here that I don't want to, my grandmother used to say, don't wear your welcome out. So I want you to go first and I'll go second. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was saying, no. I was just telling my husband about that this afternoon, about overstaying your welcome. But no, you are welcome here. Absolutely. I'm honored and grateful that you're sharing your time with me. I know it's Sunday and, it's family time. But I was going to say, I'm happy that you feel the welcome, because that's how I always want people to feel, like, welcome. You're my love.
Yes. Welcome in this place.
So, on my journey of discovering and understanding my purpose, sometimes you got to go through hell to get to heaven. And I'll say that again. Sometimes you got to go through hell to get to heaven. And I say that because heaven and hell, from my perspective, it's not a place that you go to after you die. It's right here on earth. It's in your mind. It's the way you live. It's the way you experience things, the way you feel. Not everyone might agree with me, but that's just where I am in this point in my life. That's my thinking. That's my feeling. That's my truth. So I was going through some things in my life, and I'm not going to go into details, but I was in a dark spot, as they would say. And I don't like to say dark because there's so much richness and power and beautifulness about the dark. But I was in a spot of like depression and just like, oh my gosh, what is this? And that feeling started evoking things in me to feel like, okay, like, why are you here? Like, I just started questioning everything. I started questioning like the way we were brought up, religion, the slavery system. My mind just wanted to explore and find more things. So, you've been on this journey for years and years, but there's some pivotal points that, you remember. And it's usually some low point in your life that makes you start looking at things in a different way. And then it just propels you to the next level. So I started figuring out, you know what, I want to start meditating. I want to start doing things. And as I started meditating, different things started coming to me. I started being exposed to the information that I was seeking. The universe just started putting it in my path and putting the right people in my path as well. So I just was connecting to the right people and the right things to get the information that I needed at the time that I needed it. And I just feel like your purpose is already written. Your soul signs up for what it's here to do before you come back to the earth plane. And unfortunately, not all of us get to live that purpose because we get so caught up and so confused with what is around, and we accept that as the true reality. And I'm just grateful that I'm able to see. I'm not saying that I see everything and understand everything. Like you said, it's a journey of discovery. But within your purpose, you have different missions. And you mentioned part of your purpose is being a mother. Like, I see in being a mother as, for me, it's like a title. Like, I feel like you have different titles: mother, sister, wife. I see those as titles. And I see my purpose as, okay, I'm here to spark joy, whether it's to my family, to the world, to friends. I'm here to spark joy, to bring awareness, to bring healing. And my mind is open in a way of like, okay, I'm doing all this and whatever else. Because if you read my About Me section, which I need to rewrite, by the way, it says, and whatever else my divine creator inspires me to do. Something, maybe not in those exact words, but it just says that I'm open. My purpose is forever unfolding. So your purpose doesn't stop. Your purpose is not really a goal. It's just the way you live and the way you express and the way you share and the way you help others. So I'm saying that to get back to the point of saying my purpose is to express, to bring joy, to lift the world up, to be a beacon of light so that others can grow up and become a beacon of light. Not saying that anybody's small, but we're all on different frequencies and vibrations. And if I'm your sister and I see a certain truth that you might not see, it's not my place to judge you or put you down. I no. And I'm not saying I'm not guilty of that. Oftentimes I have to speak to myself because I'm on this vibration of, okay, we're all one. It's all about love. Doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. I see the spirit. We're all here for a purpose, and we all connect for a different purpose. Whether you play the role of a villain or a superhero, we're all here for a purpose. And whatever your role is in my life, listen, thank you. If you were a villain, thank you. You helped me in some way. Because if you don't have a villain, because when you think about the foundation of the universe and how it was created, it's polarity. Polarity keeps things, but you just got to find a balance. But I'm saying that to say, I feel like I'm rambling, but
You're
I just
doing
want to
great.
get this out. That when you discover your purpose, it's like, oh,
Yes.
hallelujah.
Yes.
I know I'm here. I
Yes.
know I'm here.
Yes.
It's like when you know who you are, nobody can tell you anything. Nobody could shake your confidence. Nobody could shake your truth. If you get a little weak in yourself, which sometimes could happen,
Yeah.
you're building up to different levels. It means, okay, you need to get on your spiritual game, your meditation, your strengthening, whatever feeds your mind to remind you of who you are, whether it's your tribe, your physical tribe, or your online tribe, wherever it is, you feel that vibe that speaks to your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Tune into that more so that you can strengthen yourself, because God knows we need the strength with all the stuff that's going on here. Like, I
Distracted.
tune out from the news totally because you could get lost in all the nonsense, shopping for just nonsense and just being a consumer. And I gotta say this, you're not here to be a consumer. You're here to produce. You're here to do great things. I'm not saying don't have fun and enjoy shopping, but come on.
Yeah.
That's not your main purpose of being here. Enjoy, but have
Mm-hmm.
that balance.
Mm-hmm.
So let me let Andrea go, and thank you for listening. Go right
No,
ahead.
you did a wonderful job. As you were speaking, again, I was telling everybody, my purpose too just unravels, and it unravels daily. I see different things. And you're right. When you find out what your purpose is, it's a gift, first of all, to know what your purpose is. And I read something years ago. I can't quote it specifically, but basically it was saying, there are days in your life when two great days in your life. The first is when you were born, and the second is when you find out what your purpose is. And that stands so true, because when you find out who you are, why you're here, I think you can walk in it and you can be a more effective individual.
Booyah! I just had to say booyah.
Boo,
Yep.
yes.
Diggity ding ding
Boo,
ding ding ding.
boo, say it. Did we get it? You just and I was reading something else a while back, years ago, and this also sparked something in me, and it was saying that I'm trying to get the quote right, but you may know it, Charlene, and people in the chat may know it, but it was saying that your something along it was something about a gift to you, but then your gift is using your purpose for others. Like, your gift is ultimately just if I can kind of re-summarize it in under a Geeky Girls Journal way, your gift to others is using your purpose. That's why you're here, to utilize your purpose. And Charlene touched on it when she said, her purpose is to be a positive light, and to, allow people to have a positive energy, and to kind of get that vibration from her. That's the same, my purpose is kind of is on the same thing. We're in that same network. Where I believe mine is to, to pour into others. And I tend to do it through sharing my experiences. I'm one of those people, I'm a sharer, and I taught years ago before I had all my children, I taught. And my strong point, which is also part of my purpose, is to kind of teach and to break things down in a way that is understandable to anyone, I believe. So instead of using a lot of those higher level vocabulary words that we talked about in my book, I can break it down and then, the way that I understand it, and then give somebody a story so that it kind of seals the deal. And oh, did I have echoing? Oh, Charlene has echoing. Okay. So that is that when we're speaking about purpose, you hone into those things, like Charlene said, those things that if you think that your purpose is to be a motivational speaker, start to look at those things that you're doing throughout your life. What are you doing? Are you, do you motivate people on a regular? Do you speak into their life? Do you say positive things? So that's kind of my breakdown with motivation. I believe mine, I was told years ago by this lady when I was in Bible study, and she came to me, and I had never met her before, but she said to me, "You're going to speak to groups of women one day." And I was like, "Oh, are you sure about that?" And she said, "Yeah, you're going to speak to groups of women." So I thought, okay, yeah, I'm teaching. Well, I wasn't teaching anymore at that point. So I said, okay, I held on to that. And then in the meantime, family members would say to me, you taught, but that wasn't exactly where you were supposed to be teaching. I found out, I've always known, that when I was teaching, when I was in education and teaching elementary school, I had my certification. I never quite felt like that was where I was supposed to be. I love the teaching aspect, explaining things to others and sharing, anything that I knew. I love sharing the knowledge, that whole thing, but it just wasn't it. The whole teaching thing, yes. Teaching others things, I love it. I still love to do that. I still love to share information. I still love to, if somebody asks me a question, I'll dig deep. Oh, let me find out for you. Let me see if I can help you out. So I believe that's what my purpose is, trying to pour into others, trying to help solve things, that I'm capable of solving, trying to help others to find out better ways to do things, and generally speaking to, and I'm just saying women and girls in this case, because that's where my actual gifting is and my purpose is leading to, not to this to take the men out of this conversation, because you're very important in this instance, because you need motivation as well. We all do. So that's where I am with purpose. I've narrowed it down to you want me to okay. So yep. Motivation is what my purpose is, you guys. I just every day, like Charlene was saying, I get closer and closer and closer to honing in on exactly what it is. And I said, when a lady said that years ago, now look, hey, maybe she was right. So I'm able to speak to people on YouTube, and social media. And it's what YouTube is international, so you can speak to people anywhere and you don't even know you're touching lives. So ultimately, that's the goal. That's what I'd like to do, touch somebody's life. And that's also a part of my purpose, to speak and to motivate people, to encourage.
Absolutely. That was so beautiful. And I apologize in the delay of getting back because of my tech stuff here. But that was really beautiful.
Thank
Deep
you. I know.
breath.
Oh, I need to take one.
Yeah.
I need two deep
Now,
breaths.
let's ease into the next section. Yeah. Where we're going to talk about how to find your purpose, ways to find your purpose. You've heard what we've said, both of us. So, right in within those stories that we share are some ways that you can find your purpose. But for the sake of being a great teacher, and I actually could see that. I could see all that you're saying. And, one of the things that I would like to say is that don't get hung up on, okay, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And banging your head. Just relax into it. Tune into yourself. And I'm just jumping right into how to find your purpose. Tune into yourself, however you want to tune in. Because meditation doesn't mean just always sitting and, going home or just being silent. You could meditate while dancing. You could meditate while walking. There's different types of meditation. So try different ways and see what works for you. You could even do like Qigong and Tai Chi and these type of spiritual models just to help you find your truth, your center, right? So that's one way that you can, well, those are multiple ways, but using the same kind of technique, which is spirituality, to find your purpose. Now, we'll do like back and forth. I'll let Geeky Girl go now as to another way that you can find your purpose.
I say for me, I probably should try to meditate a little bit more. I mean, in the midst of me trying to run around with my kids, I tell you what, I say I should probably find more meditation. I actually have to have those times where I have to just stop and take a deep breath, just for 5. I told my kids, just give me 2 minutes, 5, and I need to just, I need to learn some breathing techniques from Charlene. That's what I need to do. So yeah, breathe it out. But in the meantime, I think the question was, can you repeat the question about purpose? I want to make sure I get it.
Sure. Ways to find your purpose.
Okay.
How can you find your purpose?
Yeah. So ways that I've been able to find my purpose is to, you guys, I pray. I do a lot of praying. I speak to those around me. You know how they say the people that are closest to you, they can see things in you a lot of times that you don't see. Back to what I was saying about you doing things and not even realizing that you're doing it. So for me, I have siblings that I'm very close to, and I'm able to bounce things off of them often, and also my parents. So what I do, you guys, is I used to always check in, and we'd be having these conversations, and I say, what is it that you think you're good at? And then all of a sudden it would, the light would be flashed on me. Hey, what about you? We think you're good at this. We think you're good at, and then they go on, and I'm like, a lot of times, when people say things, it takes that voice to kind of reaffirm or to confirm things that you may have seen or things that you didn't really pinpoint, things that, like I said, you've just been doing all along and never really even realized it. So that's what it was for me. Learning to try to be a better listener and listening to those around me who say, you're really good at organizing. And I'd be like, now that I know, because for one, I can't function if things are kind of out of sorts. But the other thing was, people saying, you just have this thing where you can talk to anybody. My kids say it all the time. Mommy, you talk to everybody. Every time we go to the store, we can't go to the store without you talking to somebody. And then my husband, we can't go here without you talking to somebody. And I'm like, well, I just thought that was the way it's supposed to be done. And that's who I am naturally. I just talk to people. I can talk to you about anything. I can talk to you about the sky being blue. It doesn't matter. I'll have the conversation. If I'm in the grocery store and I'm in the aisle, I'll have a conversation with somebody. Oh, I love your shoes. Thank you very much. I love your hair. So those are things that always came easy for me that I thought was just really common. But then having conversations with other people, you find that it's not common for them. It's common for you. They say, oh, no, I can't. I don't do that. Or I'm afraid to talk to other people, or I get shy if I have to speak out. I don't really experience that, the shy thing. I am who I am. So I found out that helped me and to find my purpose, having those quiet moments when listening, like Charlene said, listening to your inner self. What is it telling you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Write a piece of paper and write a list. What are you good at? Write those things down. What are the things that you like to do? What are the things that you dislike? And you'll find that sometimes those overlap, and sometimes you'll see the strength side, they may be related. They're related. Hey, I like to talk to people. I like to do whatever, And then if you look at that list closely, you'll be really close to trying to figure out what your purpose is. And there are also other ways to do it. I just feel like I'm talking too much right now, so I'm going to stop.
Okay, so yeah, there's actually a ton of ways, and I just want to add to what you were saying that people, and this is so important. Now, other people sometimes help you, and I'm talking about those people that are really looking out for your best interests and people that love you.
Yes.
They help you discover your purpose as well, because people, let's just say you can't see yourself if you're in the picture, right? They're looking out from the outside. They're seeing you. They're seeing things in you, and they help you to bring that out, depending on who you're around. Things that you might not even realize you naturally have. Like before, I would hear people say to me, like, "Oh my gosh, Charlene, you're like such an actress," or well, not actress, but like you're so like the life of the party, and almost like I'm an entertainer or like a vibrant speaker or one of those things, but. Like, oh my gosh, your energy, you're just so happy, you're so positive. Like, you could encourage people, like different things. So I'm just saying that to say that's another way to help you find and discover your purpose. Listen to those people that care about you. However, be very careful, because you do not want people to define who you are. You listen, you analyze, and then you go within to see, okay, do I like this? Why do I like this? Do I like this because my mama liked it or my dad liked it? Or do I like it because I like it? How does this truly make me feel? Examine that, and it will help you discover your purpose. So your purpose is really just examining your life. What brings me joy? What gives me life? Is it dancing? Is it helping others? And we can help others in so many different ways. It could be dancing on the stage, entertaining others, bringing joy through entertainment, bringing joy through painting, bringing joy through speaking. Whatever your thing is, you don't have to be a copy. There's enough on this planet for you to be an original. That's why you're here. And I say this in a lot of my videos and shorts. You're not here to be like anybody. Be true to who you are.
Yes, be yourself.
Yeah, because if you're not true to who you are, then you're not really living your truth, and then you're not really living your purpose, and then you're robbing us, the rest of the people in the world, of what you really could bring. And we don't want that. We don't want to be robbed. We want the full experience. So bring your full self to the play field.
Yeah, I
This is
agree
a
with
great time to step up. I'm telling you.
yeah. If you were
So
supposed to be somebody else, you would be
another way
somebody
you
else.
can find your purpose is to go back to your childhood. And I've mentioned this early. Go back to your childhood memories. And I've gone through this process. There's different process. Like some of these things, you might do all of them on your journey because it's like an evolution. And when you get to understand the beauty of life and how it just unfolds so beautifully, and believe me, you don't have, just like Geeky Girl said earlier, you don't have to try to understand everything at once. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your unfolding. And my husband, I just love him for that. When I met him, he was like, relax, woman, girl, whatever he called me, sexy. It's not just about the destination. It's about the journey. Enjoy the journey. Treasure each moment. So don't lose the moment you're in going after the future.
Mm-hmm.
The future is not here yet and the past is already gone. All we got is now. So don't lose your moments. All right? So that's another way. Go back to childhood. However you can do that, go back to childhood. So do you want to add anything to another way that you can find your purpose?
You said what I would have said. I completely agree. Going back to childhood, what think about your younger self. What did you enjoy doing? What brought you joy? And I think that is the key right there. You said it. That's why I was like, yes. The key is, like you said, listening to those that love you, that truly have your best interest at heart. Because sometimes you'll find some people, like friends that you think are your friends, they're telling you who they want you to be. They're telling you what they want you to hear. It's not often the truth. So you have to, like Charlene said, those loved ones that like I know my sister, my mom, they have my best interest at heart, my brother. So those people, I listen to them and also make sure that it's in line with what you think about yourself and in line with the feelings that you get. Is this something that I enjoy? Like she said, truly enjoy. You got to be honest. Some of us are like, oh, I want to be a motivational speaker. You have to be honest with yourself. Are you comfortable speaking? Are you comfortable, pouring into others? Are you comfortable doing whatever it is you think it is to be a motivational speaker? And think about it. Examine yourself daily. I know I'm not good at pulling weeds out of the yard. I'm only saying that because I'm looking right at my yard. I know I'm nobody's chef. I don't even like to cook. I just do it because I have to cook. I've gotten better throughout the years and I can do it because I have a family that I have to cook for. But I would never say I'm going to be a personal chef because that is not who I was created to be. I would never say I would open up a bakery because what am I going to do? Go buy some cakes and sell them because I'm not making them? I mean, I can hire my daughter to do it, but I know that that's not. So if somebody was to tell me, oh, I think you're great at baking cakes, then I'll know, no, that's not in line with what I like to do. That's not something I enjoy. So I already know right away, cancel that thing out. So if somebody tells me something that's more in line with my thoughts and who I know that I am and who I know that I am, who that I know I was created to be, then now, okay, yes, I have a confirmation because you said something. I had somebody else who told me the same exact thing. Maybe even 3 or 4 people or more have said that. And now I'm examining myself. Is this what I think about myself? Is this who I truly am? Can I see myself doing this or being this person or going in that direction? So I say, when you're trying to figure out your purpose, be honest. Be honest with yourself. Don't say what you would like to do, but say who you actually find yourself to be. I saw somebody in the chat said something about something that they love to do. I can't nail down in it, but if it's something that you truly, truly enjoy doing, some of you have some awesome, are very creative and can create something out of nothing. That is something that's something that your purpose to do. Explore that. Some of you can talk a fish out of a tank. And I'm just using this loosely, just as an example. Think about that and say, what else can I do? What else, lines up with something that I'm good at? Am I good at giving? Am I charitable? Am I a philanthropist? Am I whatever it is that you are? I can't pinpoint it. Am I? Do I like to edit videos? I know some of you are YouTubers here. Do you like to edit? Do you like to do things behind the scenes? So some of those things that you're doing will lead you into your purpose. You just have to narrow into it. And like I said, I just believe in just being fully in the moment, like Charlene said, and being honest with yourself. Be honest about what it is that you love to do. What is it you love to do? And then narrowing on that, and remember what you like to do as a child. As a child, people said I was really bossy, that I told people what to do, that I was very talkative. I happen to be the same person right now. I mean, and when they say bossy, I don't know exactly. I mean, it's that person's definition of bossy. But for me, bossy is trying to tell people to, let's do it this way, do that way, things in order, trying to, in my mind, trying to create an agenda. So it's not bossy, it's just kind of me trying to, get things in line. So, some people use that term bossy, and it's not always the way that we interpret it. But so, yeah, I'm still the same talkative person that I was as a child, still talking. So those are some things that have held true to me for my entire life. Oh, I see something in the chat, host from Buddha, to answer your question. Yes, I know, and great. Sorry, eating birthday cake, and I'm. Maybe I should read what Buddha said. Host, I'm done. I'll take my exit stage left so that you speak.
I'm done. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm a little laggy behind, so I might now be hearing some of the things you're saying. I apologize.
No, it's okay with me. I'm fine. I know that we're going back and forth, so I don't want to take up your precious time. I'm enjoying myself, so I'm here, and the lag is not that bad. Like I understand.
Okay, so I appreciate you, my sister. The party over here. Imagine when we have like a real fun party.
Yes, I know.
So I just want to add to say, let me turn this down. I just want to say, another way you can discover or figure out your purpose is to just have different experiences. Allow yourself to have new experiences or old experiences that you've had before and see how you feel about it. Give an honest, analysis of how you feel, what you think. Does it really speak to you? And when something speaks to your soul. You just know when it gets your gears going and your engine floating, or like. And I see a few people have connected with you already, so you have some new family members.
Yay,
welcome
to
down.
Family. Welcome everybody. And please, look,
welcome
no
to
question
the Geeky Girl.
Welcome to the Geeky Girl family, everybody. Look, no question is a dumb question. I used to hear. Did you all ever hear that when you were younger? You don't ask dumb questions, but I don't think any question is a dumb question. So if you need to ask me anything, and I mean anything, you can comment under any of my videos, or you can connect with me on Instagram and DM me, and I'll be happy to ask you. If I had the answer, I will definitely help out. So don't be afraid to connect. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And thank you all for, engaging today. And those of you who have connected with me already, welcome to the family. And Charlene, thank you for having me on here. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Of course, it's truly a joy. I like to vibe with people that are of that vibe. We may not always share the same belief, the exact same things, but you know what? There's enough love and respect and open-mindedness for us to connect and just evolve together. Mm-hmm. I always say I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. But if we put our different parts of the puzzle together, hey, we might have something. We might figure some things out. That's just how I roll. That's how I roll. That's how I roll.
And like you said, I love the, lives to be able to engage and have the conversations, but I will do a shorter piece. I'm going to put it in my phone so I can remember to do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll be looking out for that. I'm not sure when I'm going to do mine because I got so much on the agenda. And by the way, I just want to say special thank you to every person in here and every person that's coming after this. And for every person that may not even see this video, I'm sending thank you to you right now. I am so close to 4,000 watch hours and
Yeah.
1,000 family members. And, besides just reaching that milestone, what really I'm grateful about and what touches me a lot is the fact that, I started this almost a year ago, not quite a year ago. And it started out for different reasons, meaning my son pushed me to do it. He's like, Mama, you can do this. And I had some personal things going on, and it kind of pushed me to do the first video, and it gave me the confidence, like, oh, okay, I could do this. And that's on a different channel, because I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. Like, I thought I was starting that channel, but I started this channel thinking that I was onto that. I was like, where's that first video? And I was like, oh, that's another channel. So I'm not understanding things. But that video, because it was for me to do like a scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
and it just showed me, oh, you can do this. And then
Yes.
my son was behind me, and I always thank him, because I always felt like, okay, I want to get on the platform and I want to share. But I always was like, oh, I'm making excuses, like, oh my gosh, I don't have a camera. What equipment do I need? And let me tell you, you got a cell phone, just go for it.
Just go for it.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Just get started, and everything else falls into place. The community, everything. So I just want to say thank you. Without you, I wouldn't be at this point in my life on YouTube and on social media platforms. So I'm honored and I'm grateful, and I'm just looking forward to sharing more of my knowledge and information that I have and my truth with the world.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
YouTube, to me, in the beginning, it was like therapy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to express and be myself, and people are like, love me. This is
Yeah.
fantabulous.
I know. You know what? It's no better feeling than being able to fully be you and be yourself. People talk about authenticity all the time, and sometimes you can. People are talking about authenticity, but they're not really being authentic a lot of times. Me and Charlene, from what I see, you're authentic. What you see with Andrea is what you get. Like, I'm the same here. I'm the same on my channel. I'm the same on anybody's channel, anybody's live. So I fully agree. Like, your authenticity is what got you here in the community that grew to love you, and that's here supporting you. They're supporting you because they know you to be who you are. And I think that's important for anybody listening, like being your authentic self. I push that. That's actually also what my platform is about, just being you, being the person that you were created to be, not trying to be anybody else. Could you imagine like trying to keep up that copycat mentality for your entire life? I mean, I thought about this one day and I was like, you couldn't be anybody else but yourself. If you tried to be somebody else and you had to practice being that person all the time, what happens when you forget the role you're playing? And now you're your
You
true
can't
self.
breathe. You're not free.
You're not free. So I say, this is me. People who just, and I think you're probably maybe in agreement with me and anybody else here, be yourself. Those people that are supposed to be in your community will be there. Those people that you're supposed to draw, you'll draw them. Those people that aren't for you, you don't need them. That's my take on it. That's my take in life in general. If you don't want me to be my true authentic self and you can't accept me for who I am, then I'm just not for you, and I'm okay with that. And that's also, you guys. I teach my daughters that. My issues with them in the beginning, and I discussed, my journey with Geeky Girls Journal was, how you pour things into your kids. You're always saying, oh, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're great, and then you put, they go out into the world, and then the world says different. And everybody has issues, even as adults. Not everybody's going to like you, but you still have to remain your true self. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm happy with who I am. I'm being myself. And if people don't like it, if that person doesn't like it, it's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I say a cup of tea. I don't even like tea. I'm not everybody's cup of lemonade. I love lemonade. I'm not everybody's cup of lemonade, and I don't have to
Huh? Yes. You said it. I love it.
be.
And
Yes.
I got to give a shout out to Gio from Team Build with Gio for that. When I first came to this platform, she said something that stuck with me. I am not for everybody, but I am for somebody.
Yes.
So, it's such beautiful, simple, but powerful words. And I took it. I love it. This
Yeah,
is somebody.
you
So
know,
yeah,
yeah. And
don't give up.
yeah, when you develop that, mentality, it's like you don't have to be a people pleaser. You don't have to, subscribe to everything that people are throwing at you because you're being yourself. I'm myself. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, God bless you. Have a great life. No hard feelings, but we're not meshing for whatever reason, and it's okay.
That's right. I mean, I love that. And that takes growth, a lot of growth. Because I used to care. I'm like, oh my God, what if they don't like me? Now I'm like, that's okay.
Who cares? Yeah, I
You
don't
don't
care.
have to like me. I like me. I love me.
That's right.
I love
I love me.
all of
I
me.
live me. Yes. Yes, you got to get to
So,
that point.
but
Yes.
do you have any final thoughts of wisdom to share with our beautiful audience? And is there anyone in the chat you want to shout out or say hello to?
Okay, so I want to just give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. And thank you to Miss Charlene for having me. Thank you. Thanks to everybody, anybody that's supporting me in any kind of way, anybody that subscribed to my channel today. Thank you very much. Anybody, I see some friends in the chat, anybody that supported Andrea and Geeky Girls Journal to this point, I'm just grateful because here I am, somebody who is just on a journey, trying to figure out life, trying to, make this the best, just find the best space for me possible and trying to live out my purpose and, trying to live out my purpose so that I can help others, so that I can be a blessing to others. That's why I'm here. And, I just feel that if you know what your purpose, do what you're supposed to do. Don't hold back. Shawnee said this earlier. Do not hold back because what you have, people are waiting to hear. People are waiting to see you. People are waiting for you to show up. People are waiting for you to share your experiences, to share your knowledge, to share what you went through today. Somebody might be having a terrible day. And then you come on or you see that person in the street and you say, oh, and then you speak something into them. So they're waiting for you. Don't hold back. And Charlene also said this earlier, and I agree with this. Finding your purpose is also falling sometimes. Sometimes it's falling and figuring out those things that you didn't know you could do. And that comes along with having confidence just to kind of put yourself out there and say, you know what, I'm a little afraid to do this, and I've been in this position myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you all that. I might be a little bit afraid. I don't know how comfortable I am with this, but if you had that gut feeling that's saying do it, go for it. One thing I don't want to do is live with regrets. I would much rather do something and fall flat on my face than to say, I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda did this. So that is my word. Those are my words of wisdom to you all. Don't wait. If you think you want to start a YouTube channel, do it now. If you think you want to start a business, do it right now. If you think you want to, start speaking into people's lives, do it now. If you want to go back to school, do it. You're not too old. You're never too old. So do it. Be the best you, the best version of you that you can be. And don't worry about naysayers. Don't worry about what anybody else is saying. What do you want to do? What's in your heart? And that's where I'm going to leave this. And I thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And if I take any kind of support, I can get a wink at my channel, a wave, a smashing the like button, whatever. So thank you all for your support. Thank you again for having me. And I have thoroughly enjoyed myself, Charlene, having this conversation.
Oh, you definitely have a lot of family members now. And, thank you everyone for connecting to our incredible guests. As you're speaking, this song came to me. Well, I'm not a singer, but I'm going to sing. I know why.
Sing it anyway.
Where's my mic?
Yes. Where's your mic?
That girl is on fire. Yes.
I'm on fire.
Listen,
because you
baby
lit the
girl.
flame. You lit the
Dynamic
flame.
duo. We on that stage. We're motivating. We're lifting spirits. Listen.
That's right.
We're bringing life. We're bringing beautiful energy, hope,
yes,
knowledge, power, empowerment. So don't lose that in you. You got it. Never, if ever, anyone. If you're feeling down, you're feeling out, you're going through any struggle, we're on Instagram. Reach out. That's the quickest way to reach me. Or you could email Charlene Peel. Like I said, I'm starting a coaching program to help people. Like this one is focused more on YouTube creators or content creators, whether it's outside of YouTube, but more so YouTube creators. to help us find our purpose. Because a lot of times I find people are just throwing random videos on and there's like no purpose behind it. Like you're just there to just throw stuff on. You don't want to be a slave to YouTube. You just want to share what you're here to share and let it go to the universe. You don't want to be like, okay, I'm always watching my watch hours and all. Like from the beginning, I decided I'm on here. Yes, I want to get monetized. Yes, I'm going to get monetized, but I'm not going to allow myself to just be like, oh God, I got to be grinding. I don't want it to be like that. No.
Mm-hmm.
And if ever I feel like I'm getting into that gear, I immediately have a talk with myself. Listen, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yes.
Balance, balance, balance is key. So
Yes.
that's just my
Yes.
tip of my advice for anybody out there. And as far as your purpose, just relax into it. And if you need outside help, find the outside help that you need. My vibe might not be for you. That's okay. Find the vibe that speaks to you and find your purpose. Discover your purpose. Have great experiences. And
Yes.
remember, it's not just the purpose, just relax into it. And if you need outside help, find the outside help that you need. My vibe might not be for you. That's okay. Find the vibe that speaks to you and find your purpose. Discover your purpose. Have great experiences. And
Yes.
remember, it's not just the destination, it's the journey as well.
It's the journey. It definitely
So
is
be
the journey.
kind to yourself, be kind to each other, give love to one another. Those that are watching after, I pray that it registered with you. Those that are in the chat, those that came in and came out, thank you. I honor you. I bless you. Those that shared, those that couldn't share, those that liked, however you participated in the bushes, hoping you're not getting bug bites. Bless you and thank you. Say bye, Geeky Girls. Bye, everybody. And
Bye.
make sure you check out her website. It's in the description section. If you don't want the books for yourself or don't need it for yourself because you don't have that situation, get it for someone that needs it. It's a great gift. All
Yes.
right. Remember your
Bye.
purpose. Bye. Take
Bye.
care.
You too. Bye, chat.